Welcome then to the sixth video and the last kind of topic I'm going to be talking about for my video series, which is goals and habits and really how you go about forming them. So I think the key thing with getting you back on track and with the injury and obviously everything else that I said accompanies getting you back on track with the injury, it's making sure you've got goals and not just the lofty where you want to be in a year. As obviously when you set something so big, and also like when you set like, oh, I want to be back to sport in 12 weeks or whatever, that can seem like such a monumental task to get back to that state. And say, like, for example, we'll go with 12 weeks here, and so it's fine setting that goal, but what really is key to the whole rehab process and getting you back to full fitness is breaking everything down to the tiniest piece. So like I've got on the slideshow here, we've got set goals for monthly, weekly, and even what I love is daily goals, and I'll explain a little bit more about this further on in the slideshow. And it really just helps you, breaking it down basically helps you get it into more manageable chunks. So the massive task right at the end of getting back to, say, full fitness, or going back to work and anything like that, it can just seem at the time when you first do the injury a monumental kind of wow, like how the hell am I going to get there? But like I said, when you break it down to smaller bites and you go to monthly and weekly and daily, it becomes a lot more manageable. And then when you tick off the days and suddenly the days become weeks and then the weeks become a couple of months down the line, you'll suddenly look back and think, wow, where I've come from and where I am now, that's great progress. And I'm only this close now to being able to go back to playing sport, or go back to running, etc. So it's one of those things that really, I think, really helps you kind of see the bigger picture with the rehab plan and see where we're going from day one through to, like I said, week 12 of like potential rehab process. So that's a bit about goals. And so the problem is with goals, it kind of intertwined with you need to make good habits. So like I've said in the previous video, where this really does tie in quite neatly, is, for example, I'm going to use this like the exercises and stretches that I'm going to get you to do between sessions and during some of the sessions as well, actually. And that's the habit is basically finding time throughout the days and the weeks to put these exercises into practice and to actually do them. So the most common thing I really do here with all my clients, going back on the years of how I've been doing this, is, oh Rob, I'd love to, but I've not got time. And sometimes obviously you've got to make sacrifice, and that's one of the things which comes with the injury. So one of the things, the example that I try and do about making good habits is to finding times, for example, where you're stood waiting for something else to happen. And the easiest one I always say to people is when you get up, 99% of people that I know, you'll get up and go straight to the kettle or your coffee machine to sort out your morning drink. And this is a key time when you can be waiting around for a few minutes, and that's a perfect opportunity to go and do your exercise and do your stretches. And some exercises I'll get you to do, you'll be standing up, and so it's really, really easy just to kind of once you break it down into the daily things of what you're doing, you should be able to pick up time. For example, when you just sit scrolling through Facebook for just 5 minutes. I mean, how easy is that to do these days? And that could be 5 minutes where you're waiting for something else to happen. Instead of scrolling through Facebook, you think, oh, I'll probably do some of Rob's stretches. So that's one example of trying to make a good habit. Now, another really good one is, for example, that you set this up the night before. If I've given you stuff where you need, well, you don't have to have it, but potentially like a yoga mat or something, you could set that up the night before in your living room. So it's just ease of use. Rather than having your yoga mat tucked away at a site every night, if you have it just out ready for you to go first thing in the morning, and you literally have to stumble over it to go about your day, it makes the habit a lot easier for you to do. Which then brings me into the slide about kind of how you get out of the bad habits. So like I said, trying to eliminate the white noise, which is where what we kind of call the scrolling through Facebook, the just looking on Instagram and all that stuff. It's where you're kind of sat and you're not really doing, I know, really doing kind of productive, shall we say, things with that time. So there's like again, with bad habits, you want to make them hard for you to do. So, for example, games consoles and stuff like that. I'll use this example. Imagine if you want to try and stop your amount of time that you spend on those, you can pack your games console away, put it in like a high drawer or somewhere out of reach or out of sight. So it really basically makes it a chore for you to go and do. So rather than thinking, oh, I've got 20 minutes I can spare to have a go on the Xbox or PlayStation, when you think of how long it's going to take you to set back up, that's going to take you a really long time to get it all out, get it all connected and back up. So by the time you've connected it all up, your 20 minutes has been gone and you've got to go off and do the main thing you had to go off and do. So that's like an example of how you get out of a bad habit and kind of to give yourself some time back that up until now you may have thought, well, I haven't got time to do this, I haven't got time to do that, I haven't got time to do Rob's stretches or do these exercises, or I've got no time to go for a run. There's subtle ways that you can try and, like I said, get out of bad habits and really go and kind of crush getting back with your rehab plan and making the most out of the time you've got here. So like I said, breaking your goals down is really good and key. So going from the monthly to weekly to daily, etc. Or what I try and say to do is to, when you're looking at your goals and everything, is to don't think, oh, I'm going to have to write out a massive list every day of what I want to do. Literally, what studies have shown is that breaking your goals down to just trying to do 3 manageable things a day is really helpful. So just kind of key down like the exercises that you want to do. So one could be, I want to do Rob's exercises twice a day. The next one could be, I want to just try and do meditation for 5 or 10 minutes a day. And the third could be, I want to eat 2 pieces of fruit today. And that's as simple as you can get it. But obviously, when you look back at that habit over time, it really kind of adds up and helps show improvement when you look back in like a couple of months' time, for example. And a really good way this then ties in again with setting these goals and doing them three goals a day, etc., is to journal. And you can just every night you can kind of tick off, oh, I did the exercises, I didn't eat the fruit, but I did some meditation. You can kind of tick off and cross off exactly what you did and didn't do. And then just generally just write a little bit about what went well, why you may not have been able to hit some of your goals. And again, like I've said in the previous stuff about helping you sleep and everything, it gets the stuff that's jumbled up in your head and it puts it on paper and helps you kind of realise how you're coming on with things, and helps obviously gets out of your head to basically help you just go to sleep, and stops you getting less stress once you can see it written down on paper. So that's again my example of journaling, to just help you tick off things and get stuff out of your head. And it's great for then just a bit of reflection when you look back again in 2 months' time to see where you came from and where you are now. And some people say, oh, just struggle with goals in general, and this is where my just a minute thing comes in. And if you want to really start kind of trying new goals out, don't try and think, this is again where lots of people fail, especially when you see the New Year's resolutions about going to the gym, getting fit, getting my 6-pack, or getting my glutes sorted and all that fun stuff. People try and go like a bull in a china shop. They think, I'm going to go to the gym 2 hours a day, every day, and stuff like that. And the problem is, you're going from not doing gym at all potentially to spending a massive amount every day in the gym. And obviously this is not what your body's used to, and you'll burn out after a week, maybe 2, a really optimistic push, just because you'll be absolutely knackered and you'll start kind of hating what you're doing. So a good way of kind of starting off and just testing the water is literally just try and do a task for a minute. So say meditation for a minute, just try a couple of my exercises for a minute, and then slowly just start progressing this to then get to the point where I feel like doing this for a bit longer today. Try for 2 minutes, and then before you know it, again over time, you'll suddenly find yourself, you'll be in the gym for an hour, and it just feels normal. Or you'll be doing some meditation, and you suddenly look at your phone after coming back out of it, and you'll be like, oh, that was half an hour, that was really good. And it's such, again, it's some people try and overcomplicate these things, and that's where I think people go wrong. And if you just get the basics right, everything else should follow quite nicely, which is why I like this whole idea of just taking a minute. So that's hopefully, when you put all these goals together and you've got your habits formed, this will get you into the good routine. So what you can do now, I recommend, is going away and getting your diary, or if you haven't got a diary, maybe pop out and get one, or even just a notepad to just pencil in the next week or two of things about what you want to do, little goals you want to hit maybe in a couple of months' time, and then just break that down, work backwards from the big lofty goals of getting back to full fitness, and break it down into the monthly, weekly and daily. And like I said, have a go at just from today, just setting 3 little goals that you want to do and just reviewing it every night, and you'll be surprised at how far you come along with this. So that's it for me on this video series. Hope you've learned a lot, and if you've got any questions about all the videos that I've done, feel free to drop a comment below or just shoot me a message. I'll be happy to kind of answer it, and any more questions that you've got, and probably even point you to some books where I've got some of these lovely facts and bits of information off. But that's it from me for now. I look forward to seeing you in the sessions that we've got booked, and I may even, like I said at the beginning of this course, add some more videos to this little video series. So that's it from me. I'll see you guys soon.